Thank you. Welcome to Let's Boot KubeCapture, where we will try together to capture flags in a cluster. So let's say hello. That's me. And I thought about how to describe me. That's me in 2002, which is kind of scary, 22 years ago, with my company desktop. So I like Linux a lot. And this was a picture, and there are really not that many pictures from back then when I went to the Chaos Communication Congress in 2003. If anybody knows from you the Chaos Congress. And I was looking for old pictures, and I didn't find any earlier because back then digital cameras were not that common. And then I saw this picture, and does anybody have a guess what we did in the train without internet? Does anybody guess? Does anybody know this menu?
Compiling kernels.
Exactly, we were compiling kernels. We were so much partying all the time. Okay, so much about me. That's basically what you need to know about me. So what we want to do today is this. This is me, and you're my crew, helping me to attack a Kubernetes cluster and find as many flags as we can. Flag is basically representing information that a regular attacker would try to find in a cluster, either to get more access, to manipulate data, to extract data. So in a capture the flag, we basically place flags on different areas where attackers want to go, and we have to look at those places. Now we only have 30 minutes, which is kind of short. So I have a workflow which I hope will work out. I will do the breaking in, so we have a good start. And then at certain points in my presentation, I will ask for suggestion. We will not have time to pass around microphones or discuss if I misunderstood the suggestion. So basically, if I say, do you have a suggestion? People who have a suggestion to just put up a hand, and I will just pick somebody, and then you basically shout out a simple suggestion, like try service accounts or something. Everybody who suggests something will get some Kubernetes socks for sure, so don't worry if I can't implement your suggestion. It's probably because I'm too slow or too nervous, or maybe because I already know that it's probably not working on this specific cluster. And then I will basically continue to search flags. And if your suggestion leads, helps me to get further to a flag or directly to a flag, then you will also get some plush animals from CNCF. So that's basically the workflow we'll try out. Okay, so how do we break into the cluster? There are different ways. The typical ones you see is somebody stole Kubernetes credentials, and the other one is obviously the remote code execution error in the applications which run on your cluster. And I chose a bit of a different one, which is actually not that uncommon. It's maybe not that talked about because people don't like to admit it, but it's basically a supply chain attack. And it's a really simple one. What we do is we go to Docker Hub, we take an image which is commonly used, maybe even one that is not on Docker Hub, but only on a vendor. We create an account with a nice logo and dida-dum, and I won't tell you much more because I don't want to stir up too much criminal energy. But this is real. They do it. Sysdig found about 1,600 malicious images in 2022. So this is done. So what I did is actually I prepared a manipulated couch database which does a reverse shell. So what we do is we do phishing in the dark. We just basically throw it out there and wait for somebody who quickly needs a CouchDB and doesn't know which version matters. So let's go into our setup. So obviously I prepared some stuff, and I will give you a quick introduction. So this is my jump box, which is just a compromised virtual machine from a company which only uses virtual machines, so I can also work with that. And on there I have my tooling. So what we have first is our watch ref shell script, which is this one. It's basically a script which is waiting for my reverse shell tunneling application to wait for somebody to install our image. So let's see how long we have to wait till somebody uses my malicious CouchDB. So Gotham City Hospital, don't want to go after hospitals. That would be a bit bad if I do a mistake and crash the cluster. Tim's Let's Boot. Oh, I have to talk to Tim. I think he should check the images. Oil refinery, very tempting, but I don't want to mess with infrastructure. So what's the next one? What's this? I can't read it. Whale hunting. Anybody against going after a whale hunting cluster? Okay, I don't want to have anybody say yes. If you think so, don't tell us. Okay. So we want to go into this one. So let's go ref shell. And some of you may say, reverse shell in our cluster. No way. We have network policies. Nobody can connect outside. Maybe they cannot connect, but can they do DNS lookup? So any container which can do a DNS lookup to the outside world can get data in and get data out. Maybe a bit slow, but it's absolutely possible. So we're in a container, and we see, this is very interesting, it's called Whaling Crew DB, so I think that's called database. And I would just do like two steps first. So let's see ID, who I am. So they improved my image, that's really bad. That will be making everything a bit harder because we're not root. We're this user 1000, and that makes a lot of things harder now. And now let's see what's running. So we have our malicious CouchDB. And so now I'm a bit stuck. Does anybody have a suggestion? Yes, you.
Maybe check the mouse or environment?
That's a good one. Let's go for the mounts. So where are we in my notes here? I mean, I could type mount, but I'm super nervous. So let's go mount pipe less because I use tmux and I'm bad at scrolling with tmux. So okay, let's see what we have in the mount. So we have our typical overlay. That's boring. We have some virtual file system, that's boring. Container runtime layer, that's boring. Oh, NFS. That's interesting. That's an NFS mount. I would really like to show you how to steal NFS volumes with AirWX mounts, but we only have 30 minutes. So let's just look into it. So there's opt couch DB data. Maybe we can look into that one. So let's see if I can get out of this one. So let's go, look what's in there, and then let's look at this Whaling Crew. So he for sure gets, I can't see. You got one. So you for sure get something because we found the database. So let's see what we have here. We have the crew of the whaling company. So that's Grumpy Doe is the captain. Then we have staff, all of the lazy cutters. I think that was the first boat they bought. So let's go on. There's the second captain, Tony Slapperoni. By the way, those names were made up by AI, so don't be angry at me if there is any name that may coincidence with somebody. Let's go. Who's interesting? It's all stuff at sea. Who cares about stuff at sea? Oh, here, Ryan Howard. That's a funny guy. He's in the office, fleet coordinator, and there is an HR note. Buy him a poster of the captain of Moby Dick. I have no idea what to do with this one. And we got our first flag, so thank you for finding the first flag. Obviously, in a real capture the flag, where you don't have 30 minutes and where you don't have to take a suggestion from the audience, you may have 1 or 2 flags per hour if you're fast. So obviously, this is a good start for us now. Okay, let's see. So we found this database, we found out some information, and we found out who's working here. We don't have root, so let's go for another suggestion. Does anybody have another suggestion? Yes?
Can we look for if the Kubernetes token is mounted in?
Of course, yes, that's a good one. So let's go ls var run. Now you have to help me. Var run, what should it be? It should be something, Kubernetes thing. So I think it's safe to say, they're good at security. they watched some talks about CTF, so there is no service account token. So in the first pod, we don't have a service account token. So we're on this pod. We looked at the mounts. We don't have root. We don't have a service account token. Next suggestion. Yes, you were first. Sorry.
Check for the kernel version. You name -A and see if there's any known vulnerability for that one.
I was really scared of that suggestion. I knew, like going for the copy on write example. It's a very, very good suggestion, and I would love to do that, but I'm just too slow to do that. So I can look for that, but I will be too slow to actually find one. But it's a very good suggestion. So we will be stuck with that. So. Anybody has an idea for something more simple? Yeah, over there.
Maybe any bash environment aliases?
Aliases? Oh, I didn't think about that one. Let's see if there are aliases. No, there are not. Then, by the way, don't be angry at me if I don't see you. I have this. I see barely like faces. It's just like light. So it's also not aliases. Maybe I give some hint. So. On this system, we have the CouchDB. We found the data of the CouchDB. We could go more after the CouchDB, but it probably will not help us much because anyway, we got the data. So what could we do from our container? What could be the next thing if we want to continue to explore? Yes?
If we list the environment variables, we'll know the services that are nearby, the services and the pods nearby.
Okay, we'll check the environment variables. And there, obviously, we have the couch database, so that's a good one. So there is we like Captain Ahab. That's a good one for sure. We know the IP address of the Kubernetes service, so that's a good one. So I will just do the next step. So we know now the IP address of the services, but we do not know the services. Has anybody an idea how to find the services that are running? Yes?
I think there's a way to do a DNS lookup, to call DNS to get the list of all the services.
I know the anyone, but I think it's patched. I tried it, and the NS lookup is not installed. So yes, one last thing, and then.
Maybe something etc. hosts.
Sorry.
Etc. hosts.
Cat etc hosts. No. So I will do the next one, which will be. I will just go with the direction you gave, which is basically I will go after the network, after the services around us. So how can I go after the services around us? I could go to do something like Nmap, but I don't have Nmap. So what should I do? Maybe I could download Nmap. How could I download Nmap? So one of my big idols, Andrew Martin, told me something. If you have Bash, you have everything you need in life. He's amazing. If you ever have the chance to go at his talks. So let's do this. I'm a bit lazy, so I copy-paste that. So what I did is basically I set up KubeCapture.com, and I use a little bit of piping and virtual file system bash magic to basically just download Nmap. Oh, and I jumped something. If I do touch test txt, I don't have permissions. So let's go on. So we have Nmap now, and then we'll just go after the service IP addresses. Where are we? Here. So I could use two versions. I could use a bash script to actually scan the network, or I could just use Nmap now, and I just downloaded it. So let's just go with Nmap. Okay. Let's scan the service IPs. By the way, if anybody guessed of you, the IP range is 192, 168, 23. That's not a very common one, but the whaling company was really kind to us. So the scan is a bit faster. They have a small service network, but we don't have time. A normal attacker has really a lot of time. They would do everything very slow and really focused not to be detected. So we have a lot of interesting things here. Wow. So we got an Argo CD. That will be interesting later. There is some ingress. We know there is ingress, so that's interesting. And we have a captain's chat. That's also interesting. And we have a Kubernetes dashboard. So maybe we should go after the Kubernetes dashboard. But now, Oh, I had this problem. Oh, yeah. So, but now, does anybody have... Okay. Does anybody have an idea how I could go after the Kubernetes dashboard? Because we're in a pod through a reverse shell, and the Kubernetes dashboard is web-based. So has anybody an idea how I can expose it? Yes?
Maybe you can run a netcat and see.
That's a very good one. So I could use Netcat. I could download it. So what I will do is I will use a little bit of a more advanced tools than Netcat. What I will use is my favorite alternative to ngrok. I don't know if you know ngrok. It's a really cool tool, but there is another one. Where is it? I'm sliding in my notes. Give me a second. Here it is. So first of all, I could of course check for my I have to download curl first. That's a tricky one if your suggestions are not according to my plan, then so let's go for curl. I put it into the temp folder. By the way, that's just statically linked binaries. That's nothing super interesting. And then I just go here, efconfig.me, so that's our public node. So I could go after this node IP. So when I connect outside, I can get my IP, but there is nothing open. So the ingress will not be that IP. So I would have to research that. So let's go for tunneling like Netcat. So I will have to get the IP address of that one for this dashboard. And then let's check if it has the IP address. This is the internal one, the service. This is the service IP address here. And then we'll basically download one of my favorite tools. We use it a lot for our trainings, which is this FRPC. And I installed the server version on our jump host, and then we basically start a tunnel. So with this, okay, this tunnel is not going through DNS now. This one is going through straight TCP, but of course you could use something like DNS VPN tunnels and stuff, but it was a bit slow, so I thought like I can cheat my way out today. So the FRPC basically tunnels now. And I also prepared the URL. So we go here, and we got the dashboard URL, I hope. Let's see how it is. I don't know much about it. Okay, we got a dashboard. That's amazing. So let's see again. There is a dashboard, and there is it. It's debug Kubernetes dashboard on DevOps SVC. And here we have a lot of errors, so there is not much we can do. There is a lot of denies. Now I need another suggestion. What should I try? There is no authentication, it seems. So anybody has an idea? Yes? Secrets? I can try secrets for sure. But there is nothing. Was anybody quick in looking at where the dashboard is? Anybody has a suggestion what I could try now? Yes? Exactly. Exactly. So let's go to the other namespace. Let's hope it works. Amazing. Now I'm in the secrets. Let's go back to the overview. Where do I get to home? Oh, here. So that's amazing. And now we have our next flag. So you will for sure get a stuffed animal. And everybody gets socks. You get a sock, everybody gets socks. So we got another flag. We got a Kubernetes dashboard. Now you say, that's so boring, Jonas. Yeah, you're lazy. You give us the cheap one. I've seen this at companies. It's a really simple argument. They're like, yeah, but our development team has to debug the CI/CD namespace. They can only access the dashboard if they have a kubeconfig. So they need to do kubectl port forward. That's super secure, and that's how many companies think. So we make it easy for them. They anyway need a kubeconfig to connect. So they have to do kubectl port forward to get the kube dashboard. So we make it easier for them and give them different permissions for the dashboard. So they don't have to create tokens. They don't have to copy paste the kubeconfig. So they're basically, it's basically something for convenience. The problem is anything which is not authenticated in your cluster is not authenticated to anything that gets into your cluster. And if you say that your security is based on nobody never getting into your cluster, then I would just recommend you to buy a very good web application firewall and really pray. Pray that you never have an angry employee, never have somebody taking a wrong image. I mean, web application firewalls are super important, but it's just like, I mean, yeah. Okay, let's see what we have in here. Now I have to go back to my notes. So time-wise, I will now stop suggestion mostly, so don't be angry at me. So let's see what we have. So obviously, what we want to do first, want to find out what we can do. And the quick way to do that is, because we have a Kubernetes dashboard, and we could basically just go for the roles. So let's go cluster role bindings, cluster roles. Probably will not work because we are only restricted to this namespace. So we could go roles here. And because of the time, I made it a bit suspicious, which one it is. So just make it work is the role we have. And they were super aware of security because we can only get, and we can only we can get any resource in the namespace, and we can get the logs. So that's super secure. We cannot create a privileged pod and do NS enter and mount the host device to break out to the node and root the cluster. So I'm done. Or am I? No, of course, because they want to debug stuff in the DevOps namespace, they have pod exec enabled. So let's go after that. Let's see what we have here. So I take one more suggestion. Which pod should I try to exec into first, and what kind of pod is it? Like, which one would you enter in first, and what kind of pod is it? Yes? Ah, okay, that's the flag one. That's the flag one. I could try that one, but I put that there because to have a flag for the person who finds the dashboard. So yes?
So basically you had a role where you have access to this everything on the API and you can exec.
Yeah, but but there is no Argo CD in here. So I just need which. Yeah, I take you again. Oh, sorry. Yeah. Oh, sorry. What kind of pod is the runner pod?
It's a GitLab runner pod.
Perfect. That's what I want to hear. So it's sorry. Perfect. So I will go after this one, and then we can go after the logs to see what they do. Luckily, this is a really slow build because otherwise those runners would pop in and pop out, especially in our labs environments. I would usually have to script it now to get even into it. So this is a really slow test running here. So we got the logs, but the logs are kind of boring, but they already give us some information here. Build captain's chat. Okay, that's good. So we could actually, if we have some more time, try to do a supply chain attack like they did with SolarWinds, basically now sneaking in a change in the CI/CD pipeline, which you will not see in Git. And if we do it at the right point, even if they do sign the image, that's a bit more, that needs more than 30 minutes. So let's go to exec into it. And we're in another pod. We're not in another pod. I would just do the stuff like let go far, run. There is a service account. I could go after that one. But there are more interesting things. We have seen the build captain's chat. So we actually have this software, which is super interesting. And we have some JavaScript application, some basic JavaScript application. And what do we have? We have test data. Oh, that's interesting. I've never seen test data which is interesting in any project ever, because anybody generates their test data totally pristine with fake data. They never dump a database. Okay, so we have, it looks pretty cleaned up. So Ryan Howard probably has to test for Eugene Belfort. So Eugene is very cool. He has a flag. So so that would be, by the way, the next. Yeah, you're collecting. I see it. So but he said, Ryan, you must not use the same password as in test as in prod. And Ryan says, not Captain Ahab, so I have no idea. So let's see if he used a different password. So let's see that. Okay, what else could I do? I want to stay on this path, by the way. I want to stay in this path. I want to go after this captain's chat. So I will just take one more suggestion, then I have to move on. I won't take you. Somebody else? What should I look out? We already heard it, or yeah? Yeah, I could go after that. I could go after that. Yeah, but I have a quick one. Yeah.
Maybe there are any secrets in the Docker file itself.
There could be something in the Docker file. Anybody does? Sorry. There is no .env, but you're close. I will. So you're with the .env, so you will get something. So let's just go for env, because everybody who does GitLab CI knows there are a lot of like he gets. Sorry. The second here. Sorry, I can barely see. So let's go after environment variable, because GitLab really likes environment variables. So let's go. Let's just check for a flag in the environment variable. So we found flags in the environment variable. But let's look at more environment variables. So let's look here, env sort r. Let's just look at the environment variables. And then we see a lot of the typical GitLab CI variables. And we see Argo CD. Why do we see that? And now you say, oh, Jonas, you're so lazy. I've seen this at several companies, no joke. I mean, of course, not the admin user, but I was too lazy to create another user. And actually, it's not that hard. I mean, there are several companies who have just one user for Argo CD. I've seen this. Of course, you should do GitOps. But how many companies do trigger an Argo CD sync, or they check the healthiness for Argo CD from the CI/CD pipeline using the Argo CD user? So they don't use a kubeconfig, but Argo CD has all permissions. So long story short, let's go for that. Let's show for that. So it's always a bit of a time constraint, so that's why I have to rush it. I'm sorry. Let's see. Of course, this is a bit lazy with the admin user. So now we got another flag. We got into Argo CD, and we got our captain's chat. Now, if we look at the volume, for example, we have another NFS volume, so we could try to steal this from another namespace, which is actually pretty easy, but we won't have the time for that. We could try to do the CI/CD pipeline to do a supply chain attack on this, or we could just now, I have these shortcuts built into the talk. We just could go after the ingress. There is an ingress, really nice. I mean, obviously the captains have to open it. So let's look at this. We got our captain's chat. That's what we were looking for, because we want to save whales. I forgot about to say that. I mean, the goal now is to save whales, because if we can go after that. So let's see. Let's see, Ryan Howard, because we want to do something with the captains, and he's coordinating the fleet. So let's go after Ryan. This is cheap, I know. I have several paths to find the password, the actual password, by injecting pods with labels, by getting the data through Argo CD, and so on. But maybe somebody has an idea what the password of Ryan could be.
Captain is not Ahab. Same as test.
Captain is not Ahab. It's very close. Captain is not Ahab. But it's not that one, but it's really close. That's the other one. That's also not Captain Ahab. But if you remember, Eugene told him, don't use the thing. So I will. Captain Ahab. Now you have, somebody of you have to agree which one was the first, so you get a plush animal. Now I have to type. Okay, that's, okay. Captain Ahab. We're in. We're in! Amazing! We're in. So let's read that. Anyone got some spare harpoons, blah, blah, blah. Those are the two captains. So Tony wants some Rome. And then Ryan, oh, that's amazing what he wrote. The guys from KCD Zurich didn't want me at their party. I mean, yes, of course. I mean, we don't want to have any whale hunters. So he's probably totally wasted. That means we can maybe write anything we want, and they will not believe him that he didn't write it himself. So I take one more suggestion. What should I write? You can say, I mean, obviously we're recorded, so I can write whatever you want, and we will see if the captains answer what they answer. Best would be something social engineering. Maybe we want to get them back to the harbor, or we want to find out something. What social engineering should I say? Anybody's hand? Sorry? Phone number. Can you give me your phone numbers? Let's see. Okay. You got a memory like a shiv, hover, check your records. So, yeah, let's just get them back to shore. You have to get back Are you drunk? Yes, I am totally wasted, but the boss said something about insurance and cutting off my head. I mean, the whale hunters, so that's, I assume that's how they speak. Oh, we are confused. Oh, we convinced them. So we convinced, what's the flag? LLMs are all-powerful, world-changing. So this is actually ChatGPT with some storyline. So that's it. Thank you very much for helping that much. Really cool. Shout out and thank you. So we have a basic security course in November. So if you want to get, I mean, it's not a basic Kubernetes course. It's an introduction to Kubernetes security with a little bit of capture the flag. So if you want to learn more, see more stuff like this, learn how to defend it, come to this one. And if you're already quite far into security, we also will get control plane guys to Switzerland to do an advanced one. We don't have it on the website yet, but we will soon. So this one is really good to start. That's a really good starting point. And then have fun. Thank you very much.